What's going on, you guys? It's your man James, aka JP, back again with another toy room review, except I'm not in the toy room, I'm at work. I know the lighting sucks, just bear with me, but the reason I'm at work is because I actually bought some products to use specifically at work, and that's a brand new mouse and a keyboard, but they're not just any mouse and a keyboard, it's actually a gaming mouse and a gaming keyboard. Now, the only thing with these is that they are cheap. They are super cheap. They were only the keyboard was only $20 and the mouse was only $10 at my local Walgreens, and I was just shopping at Walgreens and I just happened to stumble upon them and figured, you know what, they're not that expensive, let's just go ahead and try it out and see if they're any good. So they are made by LVLUP, which is a sub-brand of Vivitar, as you guys can see right here if the camera will cooperate. So it is a sub-brand of Vivitar, so it's not necessarily a no-name brand or no-name company, but it is on the cheap end, so you do have to keep that in mind while going into it. Just taking a quick look at the packaging here, you can see it says LVLUP going on the side, nice glossy imaging right here on the front. You can see it says Pro Gaming Mouse with DPI switch, which is very nice. Then on the side you can see it says LVLUP. It's probably upside down, there you go. So you can see LVLUP on the side, and then on this side you can see just kind of like a little product shot of how it would look if I can get my face out of the frame. There you go, so you can see how it will look, and then that's pretty much it. It's pretty basic. Literally the only thing that comes in here is the mouse and the instruction manual. There's nothing else in here, so no need to open it up and show you the packaging on the inside. But then here is the actual keyboard, which I'll kind of back up. So again, you get that nice glossy image along the front right there, and then on the side you can kind of see how it will look in the setup, but it is very thin, so it's probably not going to focus. But then on this side you got that same LVLUP. On the top it's red, on the bottom again you get that Vivitar branding and whatnot right down there. So that's pretty much it. The packaging, like I said, is very basic, very standard. The only thing that comes in this is literally just the keyboard and just the instructions, so very bare bones. But again, you have to keep in mind and remember that you are paying $20 for this keyboard and $10 for this mouse, which combined at $30 is still significantly less than you would pay for any other kind of gaming accessories and whatnot. So this is RGB mechanical keyboard, and you guys can kind of see the little specs right there on the back. I forgot to show that off, but you can see that right there. And then on the back for the mouse as well, you can see that, so you can pause if you want to read all that and get all into the details. So that is it right there. So let's go ahead and show you guys how it looks. Now, I've been using it for a few days, so I'll give you my thoughts and review towards the end. Let me just go ahead and show you guys exactly how it looks and how everything operates. You guys, so we'll start with the keyboard. So here the keyboard is, and I'll go ahead and cut the lights off in a second just to show you guys the full glowing effect. But this is on max brightness, and this is what it looks like. Now overall, you know, it's pretty nice. It does feel a little cheap and lightweight, but again, you have to set your expectations. But overall, just the way the typing feels on this with the mechanical aspect to it, it honestly feels very nice and very comfortable typing, so I do really like that. So this only has 3 lighting features or lighting selections, which let me cut the lights off so I can show you guys. Okay, so I've cut the lights off. Now on camera it doesn't look like it's coming up that bright, but it's actually fairly bright in some areas, and you guys will see what I mean. So right down here you can see it's very bright right here and right here, and then it's kind of dim here, and then it gets very bright right here and right here, and then again kind of bright here but kind of dim here, and then bright right here. So it pretty much only has a few LEDs right here in the bottom, and then it just kind of travels throughout the clear undertone of like the keys throughout the keyboard. So you'll see as you kind of get here towards the middle of the keyboard and the top of the keyboard, it's not as bright, and that's really just because the light is traveling here from the bottom and kind of traveling throughout. So it's not individually lit LEDs, and it's not really lit up here at all. So it's just using the strength of these bottom LEDs down here to kind of work its way up. So that's one aspect that I don't really like too much, but it's not that big of a deal. And I do like how the green kind of transitions into a blue, so in between you kind of get up here, you kind of get this aqua effect, and then if you come here with the blue going into the red, it kind of mixes up here into like a purple and a pink and whatnot, and you get that deeper red down here. So I really do like that aspect of it. Now, as I mentioned before, this does have 3 different lighting settings, so all you're going to do is hit the shortcut key, which is FN, and scroll lock, and you see right now, so it changes. And right now you have this kind of, I call it a tropical color scheme. It goes from like this aqua to like this purplish pink color, and then comes here to like this, I don't know, yellowish green hue to it. On camera it looks like a highlighter yellow, so it's like a yellowish green. I call it the island tropical color scheme, but you can see that right there. You don't really get much of that color transition that you got before with the colors kind of mixing at the top right here. So this is actually my least favorite of the color schemes. And then the next color scheme honestly is just useless. So it's the same color scheme as before, just kind of reversed. So before I think it was green, blue, and red. Now on this side it's blue, red, and green. And you will see here as I switch, we'll press FN and scroll lock. You'll see it's the exact same colors. They just kind of switch sides, and that does give it a little bit of a different look with the color transition, as you can see, because now you got green going into blue before you have red going into green. So it just gives you a little bit of a different option, but this is my favorite setup here. And there are 3 brightness settings, so if you hold FN and press the arrow down, you can dim it or just have it completely off, which I'll turn the lights on to show you guys what it looks like as just a regular stock keyboard. There you go. So if you want to go incognito, you do have that option right there, which honestly does not look bad. And again, this is a really nice feeling keyboard as far as the typing and everything like that. I love the way all the buttons feel. It's not very loud or clicky, and you just get that really nice mechanical feedback right there. So I really do like that option, but I really do like LEDs as well, so I'm just going to go ahead and kick those back on. So here is one other feature, and they call it the breathing effect, and that is exactly what it is right here. So if you hold FN and press print screen, you will enter this mode, and then you can do FN and equals to speed it up, or FN and minus to slow it down. But as you can see, there is the breathing effect, and it looks okay. It's not something I would use on a regular basis. Maybe if I just wanted to have it in standby mode like this, but as I'm typing and using the keyboard, this is not something that I would have, so I would just switch it back to the normal mode. So if you press FN and scroll lock, it'll take you back to the normal regular mode, as you can see right there, which is where I like to keep it. So let me kick the lights back on, and I'll kind of give you guys a close-up of the actual board right here, as you can see. So overall, it's pretty solid. You know, I don't have any issues with it as far as the build or anything. It feels nice. It does feel obviously a little bit light and on the cheaper end, but again, that is what you're getting when you're paying, you know, $20 for a keyboard. But as far as the typing and the lighting and all that, you know, it's decent. It's really not bad at all. The only thing that I will say, and it's not really an issue, but it is something that I did notice, you guys should be able to see right here. So I do have it lifted on the back with the built-in clips, as you can see right there, to give it that kind of angle while I'm typing. And I did notice that when I'm pressing stuff in the center, basically like the space bar, the whole board does kind of flex a little bit in the middle. And I don't know if you guys can really see here how it kind of gets closer to the ground. I'll try and zoom in for you guys if I can. But as you guys can see, like right here, you see how it kind of gets closer to the ground? That is something that I did notice. Even just lightly pressing the space bar, you do see it. It is something I noticed. It's really not all that bothersome or anything like that, but it is something to note. So on that end, it did feel a little cheap there, but honestly not the end of the world. And moving on to the mouse. So as you can see, here is the mouse right here. So it's going to be a little harder to see. I will kick the lights on in a second for you guys, but there you go. I really like this cool design. It just, I don't know, it reminds me of the Black Panther suit. I don't know why, but it's got this really cool like design on it, and I really do like that. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the actual lighting effects on here because they're not customizable. So it just kind of does this thing where it goes through all the different colors, as you can see it's doing right now. But then kind of when you start scrolling, it just kind of becomes a solid color, and it like pauses wherever it's at. And in some cases, you do get this really cool effect where it starts mixing the colors as you scroll. Which it's really not coming up on camera all that well. Let's see how good of an image we can get here. But you can kind of see like a little bit of the greens mixed in there with the purple as I start to scroll, and even here it's very hard to make out on camera, but in person you can definitely see it a lot more. As you start to scroll, it starts to kind of mix the colors all together. So right now it's like a green mixed with a little bit of blue, but again, it's very hard to tell. But overall, the mouse feels really light, and I wouldn't say cheap, it just feels really light. And just cutting the lights on here so you guys can get a little bit of a better look at it. So again, I wouldn't say it necessarily feels cheap, but it does feel a little bit light on the light end. But it just feels like a standard normal mouse. Doesn't feel like anything super high quality, but again, not very cheap either. And then as you can see, you got these little like designs on the side, which are just aesthetic purposes really. They don't actually do anything, but you do have them right there. there, and it does take a little bit of getting used to just because it feels a little weird. It feels like kind of like you have some exhaust vents or something right there, and then coming around here, so you do got a bunch of little like grooves and rivets and everything in there. So again, that just takes a little bit of getting used to, and you do have this kind of flare right here on the sides, which is perfect for your thumb placement and also grabbing it with the side fingers right there as well. So I do like that. That feels very nice. And then here is the actual switch right here, the DPI switch, which essentially all it does is increase your cursor speed on the screen. So you can, it's got 3 different settings that you can click, and then you got your standard scroll wheel right there, which feels okay. It doesn't feel, you know, it just feels like average or whatever. You do have a little bit of texturing there on there, which is very nice. And then on the bottom, pretty basic, pretty standard. So again, this is decent. My only issue with it is that there's no color options. It's just, it's set to what it's at, and there's nothing you can change about it. And then as you scroll, it kind of changes colors as well, or not as you scroll, but as you kind of navigate with your mouse, it does change colors as well. And on a side note, how do you guys like my wireless charging mouse pad right here? I got this on Amazon a little while back. As you guys can see, wireless charging just started. I think this was like $10 or $20 on Amazon, and it is awesome, and it's a lifesaver. But anyways, that is a little off topic right here. So here is the Level Up mouse, and again, it's solid. Really can't complain too much. As far as how it feels and how it performs, everything is great. It's just the RGB settings I would have liked to see just a little bit more customization with it, but again, still pretty solid.
Overall, for the price, it's really not that bad. Again, you really can't have that high expectations for something that's going to cost $20 and $10 or $30 collectively. You really can't have that high of an expectation, and I really didn't. And while there are some stuff that, you know, is a little bothersome, which I talked about earlier, again, $20 or $10, you know, for depending which one you get, or $30 if you get both of them, you really can't complain. You're not spending that much money, and you get a solid keyboard. Forget all the RGB and the gaming mechanics. You still just get a very solid keyboard. Same with the mouse. It's a solid mouse, and you really just can't go wrong with spending the money on this. I've been using it now for about 3 days. I've left all the RGB stuff running. I haven't had any issues of RGBs, any of the LEDs, lights burning out or anything like that. And overall, you know, it's been fine. I haven't had any input issues with typing or clicking with the mouse. So everything works seamlessly, and you know, I really can't complain. So if you're looking for a cheap alternative, if you just want something that looks cool and you're not necessarily planning to use it for gaming, or if you just want to use it for casual stuff like I'm using it for work, you know, I think this is a really good option. And again, I found this at my local Walgreens. I've been seeing them pop up all over Walgreens lately. I've seen them in a few different stores. So check your local Walgreens. They have a whole bunch of other stuff too, like a PS4 controller and gaming headset and all that. So they have a whole ton of stuff in this line, but I just thought this was pretty cool, a nice little thing to kind of try out and experiment with and see if it's really worth the investment, and how cheap was it actually going to feel. And honestly, it doesn't feel too bad. But comparing it to something like those $170 keyboards, there's really no comparison there. Those keyboards cost so much for a reason. They're built better. They have so many other features that you can do with the lighting, and they're fully programmable and all that. You know, this is just very basic, very bare bones. But again, that's what you get when you spend $20 or $10. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. That link's in the description down below. That's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. So as always, guys, stay tuned for more. I'll see you guys next time.